Angela was born on April 15, 1975, in the vibrant town of Dodge City. Growing up in a large family with 10 children, she was cherished for her wit, intelligence, and engaging conversational skills, making her the focal point of any gathering. Her love for animals, despite her allergies, was a constant throughout her life, alongside her deep interests in reading and woodworking. As a student of interior design, Angela appreciated the art of creating and arranging living spaces. However, her foremost priority was her family. She nurtured strong bonds with her siblings and was always ready to assist friends and even strangers in need. Angela's enthusiasm for genealogy inspired her to become a family history consultant, helping individuals reconnect with long-lost relatives. She was also actively involved in her church, serving as a choir director, teacher, and youth group leader. On December 18, 1999, Angela married James Craig, who aspired to become a doctor. In 2006, he achieved this goal by earning his doctorate in dental surgery from the University of Missouri-Kansas City. During his time at the university, James played a pivotal role in establishing the International Dental Program, which aided foreign-born dentists in obtaining their licenses in the United States. By October 2006, James began his dental practice in Aurora, Colorado. Over the course of 23 years, Angela and James welcomed 6 children into their family. Despite the physical distance, Angela maintained a close relationship with her siblings, particularly her sister Toni, who resided in another location. In Utah, the two maintained daily phone conversations and dedicated time to numerous memorable trips together. With James's dental practice and Angela's active participation in the local community, the Craig family appeared to be happy and fulfilled. However, an unforeseen event occurred on March 15, 2023, at 11:00 a.m. when Angela was urgently taken to the hospital due to a severe headache, dizziness, and nausea. James remained by her side, offering support throughout this distressing experience. Despite the medical team's interventions, Angela's condition deteriorated by 2 p.m., culminating in a significant seizure. The doctors responded promptly, placing her on life support as her worried family sought clarity regarding her situation. This marked Angela's third hospital visit within a mere 10 days, characterized by recurring symptoms of headache, nausea, and dizziness, yet no definitive diagnosis had been established. This time, however, her condition was markedly more critical, leaving the medical professionals baffled. As her health continued to decline, 2 close friends, Ryan Redfern and his wife, arrived at the hospital. Ryan, a fellow dentist and longtime friend of James from their university days, had also been a financial partner in James's dental practice. In 2021, when James encountered financial difficulties, Ryan had stepped in to help preserve the practice. His wife, who held a doctorate in nursing, was aware of Angela's recent health issues and wished to provide support. Angela's symptoms had first emerged on March 5, 2023, following a visit to her sister in Utah. Feeling unwell, she sought medical assistance on March 6, but the doctors found no alarming issues, prescribing her standard medication. Angela's condition deteriorated, necessitating another hospital visit on March 9, which raised concerns among her friends. While Angela was hospitalized, Ryan's wife reached out to James to offer assistance. Although James appreciated her gesture, he reassured her that they were managing the situation. The following day, March 10, Ryan's wife followed up to inquire about any updates regarding Angela's diagnosis and reiterated her offer of help. James, thankful for her concern, acknowledged the difficulties they were facing, marking the onset of a critical phase in Angela's health journey. He expressed increasing worry as the doctors performed numerous tests, including several blood draws. Fortunately, the routine blood tests returned normal results, ruling out autoimmune disorders and diabetes. At that time, the primary concern appeared to be Angela's blood pressure, which remained dangerously low despite receiving 5 liters of 4 fluids over a 24-hour period. Despite medical interventions, Angela continued to feel unwell, prompting the doctors to keep her hospitalized for an additional night with hopes of her returning home the next day. In the days that followed, Ryan's wife consistently checked in on Angela's health, providing steadfast support. James reported that further tests, including an MRI due to a family history of brain tumors, as well as ultrasounds and CT scans of her head, chest, and abdomen, were conducted. Surprisingly, all these tests yielded normal results, leaving no clear medical explanation for Angela's declining health. Angela was eventually permitted to return home. However, a concerning question lingered: if all medical reports indicated that she was in perfect health, why was her condition worsening daily? Tragically, on March 15, 2023, Angela's health took a significant downturn. This time, her symptoms were markedly more severe, as she experienced intense dizziness, nausea, and severe abdominal pain. Unable to reach James, who was at his clinic, Angela called her brother for assistance. He promptly transported her to the hospital, where she was admitted around 11 a.m. Upon receiving the alarming news, James rushed to be by his wife's side. In the midst of this crisis, he reached out to his partner's wife to convey the distressing update, even sending her 2 photographs of Angela in the hospital, surrounded by medical staff. Angela suffered a stroke and became unresponsive. Deeply worried, Ryan and his wife decided to visit the hospital, sending James a message to inform him of their journey to provide support during this uncertain period. While en route to the hospital, Ryan received a concerning call from Caitlin, a relatively new office manager at James's workplace. Caitlin had observed some unusual occurrences that raised doubts about Angela's health. She recounted an incident from March 6, 2023, when she was working late at the dental office and James unexpectedly arrived, despite having no patients scheduled. What struck Caitlin as peculiar was that instead of going to his own office, James proceeded down the hall to use a computer in one of the examination rooms, which was out of the ordinary. James usually utilized his personal computer in his office, so the deviation from his typical routine appeared unusual. Approximately 30 minutes after Caitlin departed from the office, she received a text from James. In his message, he indicated that he was anticipating a personal package to be delivered to the office and requested Caitlin to ensure its receipt, stressing that it should not be opened by anyone else. On March 13, 2023, the package James referred to finally arrived. However, when Caitlin went to collect it, she found that a colleague had already opened it. Recalling James's request for discretion, Caitlin resealed the package and delivered it directly to him. While repackaging, she noticed something peculiar: a hazardous material label affixed to a cylindrical container marked potassium cyanide. Caitlin speculated that the chemical might have some medical or dental application with which she was unfamiliar, so she resealed the box and promptly handed it to James. Later that day, she observed James leaving the office with the cylindrical container wrapped in brown paper, which heightened her suspicions. Why was James taking potassium cyanide home? Intrigued, Caitlin turned to Google to research the uses of potassium cyanide. This led her to a startling revelation: the symptoms of potassium cyanide poisoning closely mirrored those that Angela had been experiencing. As Angela's condition deteriorated, exhibiting symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and low blood pressure, Ryan arrived at the hospital, still reeling from Caitlin's revelations. He met with his wife, and together they proceeded to address the situation. Ryan wasted no time in approaching one of the nurses on duty to express his concern that Angela, who was now on life support, might have been poisoned by James with potassium cyanide. Although initially taken aback by this unexpected revelation, the nurse took the allegations seriously and agreed to initiate a new series of tests on Angela. Recognizing the seriousness of the situation, the nurse also called 911 to notify the authorities. Meanwhile, James stepped outside to take a phone call, providing Ryan and his wife with a chance to leave the hospital. However, their exit was abruptly interrupted by a frantic call from James, who demanded to know why they had departed and informed them that the hospital staff suspected he had poisoned his wife. Ryan did not hold back. He confronted James directly about the mysterious package that had been delivered to the dental office and its disturbing contents. He pointedly asked James why he had ordered potassium cyanide. Cornered, James ultimately confessed to purchasing the chemical but claimed that Angela had requested it, never anticipating that she would use it. Following their tense phone conversation, James sent a text to Ryan, imploring him not to disclose their discussion to anyone, particularly the police. He expressed concern that Ryan's involvement would only exacerbate the situation for his family. While acknowledging Ryan's motivations, James insisted that had Ryan approached him directly, rather than involving others, they might have avoided the current turmoil. His frustration and anger towards Ryan were evident, yet Ryan could not shake the feeling that there was more to Angela's condition than met the eye. Due to his declining health, he made a pivotal choice to reach out to the police, providing them with all the information he possessed and urging them to conduct a thorough investigation. Later that night, well after midnight, law enforcement arrived at the hospital to discuss Angela's critical state. She remained on life support with no brain activity. The following day, on March 16, 2023, investigators met with Caitlin, the office manager, and it was at this point that the truth began to emerge. Caitlin disclosed that on the morning of March 6, 2023, prior to Angela's initial hospital visit, James had prepared a pre-workout protein shake for her, which he had proudly mentioned at the office, presenting himself as a devoted husband. However, the situation took a dark turn when Angela suddenly experienced dizziness, leading to a rapid deterioration in her health. Caitlin did not hesitate to express her concerns regarding a suspicious package and the potential presence of potassium cyanide, explaining how this deadly substance could cause the symptoms Angela had been exhibiting and could even be fatal. Ryan, who had joined the discussion at the dental clinic, further contributed to the narrative, dismantling the facade of the seemingly content Craig family. He revealed that in 2021, when James was grappling with financial difficulties and the looming threat of bankruptcy, he had confided in Ryan about his marital issues. Disturbingly, during that time, James had been considering divorce. Even more tragic was James's later revelation that Angela had contemplated taking her own life in 2022 through an overdose, but he had intervened to prevent it. According to Ryan, James had stated that Angela's tendencies towards self-harm had become a significant concern. In December 2022, when he requested a divorce, the severity of the issues became more evident. Despite these significant concerns, James did not report any of Angela's behavior to the authorities, nor did he seek professional assistance for her mental health. This pattern of secrecy and neglect raised critical questions regarding the recent developments. To gain a clearer understanding of Angela's mental condition, the police interviewed the couple's 6 children. Surprisingly, their accounts differed significantly, portraying their mother as joyful and energetic, with no indications of the troubling behavior that James had described. This discrepancy only intensified the mystery, suggesting that James may have been fabricating a narrative to account for Angela's declining health. As suspicions grew against James, the police initiated a comprehensive investigation, obtaining search warrants for both the Craig residence and James's dental practice. They also began to scrutinize James's phone records and text messages with Angela, dating back to March 6, 2023, the day she first reported feeling unwell. The text messages from that day revealed a concerning dialogue. Angela expressed gratitude for a coffee that James had prepared, indicating affection and optimism for the day ahead. However, shortly thereafter, she mentioned feeling dizzy and unwell, prompting James to recommend that she check her blood pressure. The conversation took a disturbing turn when James referred to heavy medications and acknowledged his previous concerns, suggesting a potential trigger for Angela's condition. He expressed worry about her symptoms, likening them to those of a stroke, and inquired about any weakness she may have been experiencing. This unsettling exchange raised further alarms. The accumulation of evidence left investigators with an abundance of questions following the disconcerting interaction between James and Angela. During this exchange, James persistently inquired about Angela's symptoms and offered various suggestions, revealing a concerning level of awareness and concern regarding her health. The investigation took a pivotal turn when law enforcement officials opted to examine James's computer. They discovered 2 email accounts associated with him, along with a troubling search history that pertained to Angela's deteriorating health, further intensifying suspicions regarding his potential involvement. In February, nearly a month prior to Angela's hospitalization, James had searched for phrases such as "How many grams of pure arsenic does it take to kill a human, and can arsenic be detected in an autopsy?" He also researched chemical suppliers within the city, all of which raised significant red flags during the inquiry. A particularly incriminating piece of evidence was a purchase made by James on Amazon for a product identified as 999% crystalline metalloid arsenic, with the product description clearly stating that ingestion of this substance could be lethal. Further investigation into James's online behavior uncovered alarming YouTube videos he had viewed. One video, titled "Top 5 Undetectable Poisons That Don't Show Signs of Murder," provided instructions on how to create poisons derived from plants. Additionally, he conducted 3 more searches related to the preparation of homemade poisons, specifically from plant sources. To compound the disturbing nature of these findings, investigators also discovered another video that detailed the effects of cyanide. Arsenic poisoning presents significant challenges for medical professionals in identifying such toxic substances. The most compelling evidence emerged from an order placed by James for potassium cyanide, which suggested a troubling connection. It became increasingly apparent that James had been systematically poisoning Angela, raising the question of his motives. Why would a man poison his wife and the mother of his children? Investigators began to consider whether this was linked to his desire for a divorce. As they conducted further inquiries, they spoke with friends and family members. Angela's sister offered crucial information, revealing that only those closest to Angela were aware of the true nature of her marriage to James, which starkly contrasted with the loving image they projected publicly. She disclosed that James had a pattern of extramarital affairs with several women and had admitted to Angela his long-standing addiction to inappropriate online content. A particularly alarming incident from 5 or 6 years prior drew the attention of law enforcement. A woman recounted Angela expressing her fear that James had intentionally drugged her to hinder her from interfering in his questionable activities. This revelation shed light on some of the peculiar text messages exchanged between the couple. However, the police remained doubtful of James's rationale for drugging Angela, deeming it implausible that he would resort to such drastic actions. Angela's sister also noted that Angela had frequently expressed a desire to escape her marriage over the past 16 years, yet each time she mustered the courage to leave, she found herself unable to do so. James adeptly maneuvered circumstances to ensure her continued presence, as their marital difficulties transcended their personal relationship and extended into the challenges faced by James's faltering dental practice, further complicating matters. Despite being $2 million in debt to the police, James attempted his fortune in gambling in Las Vegas, resulting in a loss of over $2,000. It became increasingly evident that beneath the facade of their seemingly idyllic marriage, the Craig household was fraught with discord. The investigation revealed even more incriminating evidence, including emails that detailed round-trip flights booked on 2 separate occasions for Karen, an orthodontist based in Texas. The correspondence between Karen and James was far from formal, exhibiting an intimate tone. Karen had initiated divorce proceedings in 2022 and had been involved with James, a fact unbeknownst to Angela. As investigators delved deeper, they discovered that these flights were purchased on the same day arsenic was delivered to James's residence, indicating a premeditated scheme for James to meet with Karen. On March 16, one of Karen's emails to James, titled "See You Soon," conveyed her remorse regarding the tumultuous events in James's life that week, expressing regret for her absence and for maintaining distance. As law enforcement continued to compile evidence against James, hospital staff endeavored to save Angela, but tragically, she succumbed on March 18 at 4:29 p.m. Angela was pronounced brain dead, passing away without ever uncovering the truth about her husband's sinister intentions. Merely hours after her removal from life support, James was formally charged with first-degree premeditated murder. He had little time to contemplate the gravity of the charges, as he was arrested on March 19. Shortly thereafter, James appeared in a Colorado courtroom for his initial hearing, where the charges against him were read aloud. A mixture of friends, family, and some of James and Angela's children observed in disbelief as the disheveled 45-year-old man, clad in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffed, starkly contrasted with the smiling blonde figure captured in family photographs. In addition to the serious charge of first-degree murder, James faced a second charge of tampering with physical evidence. The judge set his bail at an astonishing $10 million, with his trial scheduled for December 2024. In the week following Angela's death, new revelations surfaced indicating that she held not 1, but 3 life insurance policies in her name. Although unconfirmed, this unsettling information suggested that the potential for collecting those life insurance payouts may have been part of James's grim scheme, intertwined with his extramarital affair. Angela's 6 children are now left to confront the heartbreaking reality of losing their mother while their father stands trial for her murder. Angela's children were her greatest pride, and in the wake of James's arrest, her family stepped in to provide care for them, emphasizing that James's extended family should not bear the burden of his reprehensible actions. In Angela's obituary, her family and loved ones endeavored to portray the essence of her life, transcending the tragedy of her premature death. Upon her declaration of brain death, Angela's family made the courageous choice to donate her organs. While they could not save her, they found bittersweet solace in the knowledge that her legacy endures through the lives she has helped to save. Thank you for your attention.